Happy Sabbath. Just want to give all praises to the Most High God for bringing us here again tonight, for letting us live another day, to let us live another Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? To be breathing this life, breathing this air in our lungs, you know, because it's the only way we can do that is with the Most High God. So we always got to give all praises to the Most High, right, through His Son Christ. Because there's no way we could be on this call right now if it wasn't for Him. You know, there's no way we could be having these conversations that we're having, right, as far as waking up to the truth, coming back to our heritage, if it wasn't for the Most High God. So through His Spirit, that's why we here tonight. And we always got to give all praises. But let's get this first article. Tonight we're going to do just current topics. A couple things is going on throughout this world, right? All this wickedness is going on. There's a lot of rumors of war, all kind of different things going on right now. You got all hell breaking loose on the brink, in Babylon the Great right now, man. But get that article, bro. All right, so right now we're gonna get into. So this is something I looked into last year. So last year they said they was gonna release 750 million genetically modified mosquitoes into the Florida Keys, right? But we're gonna read on in this article why they wanted to do it, and the reason why. So let's start at the top with the headline.
All right, this is futurism. Residents furious at release of 500 million gene hack mosquitoes. A biotech company is releasing 500 million gene hack mosquitoes in Florida, and Florida residents are enraged. The village of Islamorada is a 20-mile stretch of islands in the Florida Keys. So Nero, you can often see the ocean on both sides and dotted with beaches, resorts, condos, shops, residential neighborhoods, a Starbucks, and a Burger King. On a front,
they are not lying. I've been to the Florida Keys before. It's so small. I think they only have like a Kmart there, and then everything else is restaurants, and that's about it. Like I say, you can see the damn water from one end to the next. You read?
On a Friday afternoon in March, and Islamorada resident named Virginia Donaldson told Futurism that two men in uniforms walked up to her house, said they worked for mosquito control, and asked her to participate in a new pest control program. Donaldson was in a hurry, so she signed their clipboard and watched as they hung a small black mosquito capture cup from a tree in her yard. I don't even know what I signed. I just signed my name, she said. I was like, oh, mosquito control, yeah, whatever. Without realizing it, Donaldson had agreed to participate in a genetic experiment during which a British biotech company called Ozitech will release 500 million gene hack mosquitoes engineered to kill off the local bloodsucker population along a lengthy swath of the Florida Keys. Breeding and unleashing clouds of genetically engineered bugs sound like science fiction, but it's already happening. Locally, some love the idea and others hate it, a fight which has turned ugly, with some residents even threatening to destroy Oxitec's equipment.
Hey, and just another thing, you know how Esau is, man. So the lady said he walked up to the house and said, we with the mosquito control. They ain't said nothing about no damn genetically modified mosquitoes. Probably ain't said nothing like that. Like, yeah, we with the mosquito company. You probably think they're just gonna ride through with the truck and blow smoke in there, you know what I'm saying, and get rid of the mosquitoes. But I guess you got to read the fine print, man, because you know what I'm saying. Esau can be very tricky, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, keep reading.
Supporters say it's a new way to rid the area of annoying disease-spreading mosquitoes, but opponents are furious about the way they describe as a biotech company coming in and strong-arming their community into serving as a petri dish for a poorly vetted gene hacking experiment.
So they're going to be an experiment, right? These people are about to undergo an experiment. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if it's going to be bad or good. They tampering with nature, right? I guarantee you ain't nobody down there praying to the Most High God, asking him to remove the disease from these mosquitoes and different things of that nature. Ain't nobody asking the Lord to do these things. They taking these things in their own hands.
All
right? Keep reading.
I find this criminal that we are being bullied into this experiment. Florida Keys resident Megan Hull said it at a heated town council meeting in March. I find it criminal that we are being subjected to this terrorism by our own Florida Keys Mosquito Control Board.
Right. Brother Eric, can you give me 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse, let me see. Give me verse 3.
Alright.
2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3.
Alright.
And like I told y'all earlier, whenever y'all got some scriptures you want to, you know what I'm saying, throw out there, you can chime in. This basically like an open topic, open floor conversation or whatever.
Ready for it?
Yes, sir.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
So the son of perdition, the man of sin, he is being revealed right now. These people manipulate the natural environment for their own agenda. Right, keep reading.
Verse 4. Who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Right, so this man is sitting in the temple showing himself that he is God. This is very godlike, man. The genetically modifying mosquitoes for your own agenda. Like, this is something you basically going against the Most High's nature. The Most High created everything good, like he wanted it to be. Right? So they're going in tampering with everything, just like they do everything else. They tampering with these mosquitoes, man. Right? Let's keep reading on that the article, bro.
All right. We have everything to risk, nothing to gain, and it's all for Isotech's bottom line, she added. Isotech, with the corporation of the Environmental Protection Agency and local governments, plans to release 500 million mosquitoes, into each of which its scientists have inserted a gene called OX5034.
That don't even sound right, man. When the Lord created OX5034 in the scripture? You know what I'm saying? That's not in there. It ain't in there, man. And we can look all through there. You could probably YouTube it, you know what I'm saying? Look it up in the Hebrew, in the blue letter, right? You're not going to find that in there, man. They're going against the laws, man. You tampering with nature. Keep reading.
After a years-long process, the EPA approved Isotech's plan in May 2020 through an experimental use permit. Wow. A special authorization that allows companies to field test new pesticides. Isotech says the mosquitoes, all males, which don't bite humans, will then breed with wild females, which do bite. Wow.
Which do bite. So, like, they really don't know what's going to go on, man. Like, yes, they genetically modifying the male mosquitoes, which don't bite humans. It's the female that bites you and sucks the blood out of you, right? But they're breeding the males, like I said, which do not bite, but then they're going to breed with the females and then keep reading.
But they'll pass on the OX5034 gene, a hereditary payload that prevents any female offspring from reaching adulthood.
That sounds familiar, don't it?
Wow.
Keep reading.
The theory is that the more the gene-hacked mosquitoes and their descendants reproduce, the fewer biting female mosquitoes there will be in the area. This real-world experiment, which is scheduled to begin imminently, will target the mosquito species Aedes something. These bugs only make up 2 to 4% of the mosquito population in Florida's Keys, but they're associated with nearly all cases of mosquito-borne illnesses. Isotech says the trial could help stop the spread of insect-borne diseases that affect humans, like dengue and Zika, by preventing the bugs that carry them from surviving.
Right. So these people are taking the place of God and showing themselves as God. Let me get Obadiah, the pride of our heart. Obadiah, let's see where it's at.
That's crazy though, man.
Verse 3. Right, we got go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. Speak on what you're going to say. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Wait on you.
Brother Ananias will speak.
No, I was just saying how they say they're going to create something to stop the female mosquito from reaching its adulthood, basically, to try to kill off a strand that carries a certain disease. It's wild, though. Go ahead.
It's Obadiah 1 and chapter 1 and verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cliff of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
This is ultimately what he's saying to the Most High God. What you gonna do if I make genetically modified mosquitoes? What you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? They doing all these things, like they give you problems, they create the problems and give you the solution at the same time. Like these are evil, wicked people, man.
Let me get this Psalm 64 if you ain't got it already.
Yeah, you got it.
Psalm 64, verse 6. Nah, I start at verse 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and heart is deep. They say they laying, laying snares privily, saying who gonna see them. That's how they did when they went to their woman's house with the little sign this sheet, and we gonna go out here with our little cup. Laying that snare privately. They ain't telling the neighborhood folk what's going on, but get them to sign off and have some genetically modified mess going on. That's crazy.
Okay, this is Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Right, the first lie they come out saying is they believe in white Jesus, right? That Jesus is a so-called white man. That's the first lie they come out their mouth. But then the wicked, man, just like what's going on now. They went to the lady front door. They knew exactly. They could have explained to that lady what's going on, but that ain't in their heart to do that. Right? I'm gonna get Micah. Let me get Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Book of Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. philosophy and think about how they're going to do it. How they going to go against the laws of God, man? How they going to go against nature? It says, woe to him that devises iniquity and work evil upon their bed. When the morning is light, they practice it. Right? Because they practice it when it's early in the morning. Because it is in the power of their hand. And we already know so-called white man is ruling the earth. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 9. Because they got the power in their hands to do this stuff,
man. Proverbs 24, verse 9.
Yeah.
The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is in the... Is that the one? 24 and 9?
That actually go with it too, but I meant 9 and 24. Read that what you got.
All right. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. That's right. Proverbs 24 and 9.
All right, give me Proverbs 9 and 24.
All right. You sure that's it?
Ain't no.
Oh, no, I'm tripping. Job 9 and 24. I apologize. Job 9 and verse 24.
All right. This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Right. If this is not the wicked man, then who is it, man? Who else is making genetically modified mosquitoes? Who else is saying that two homosexuals can lay down together? Who else is doing this, man? Nobody but Esau. Nobody but Esau. Brother Eric, what you think about these mosquitoes, man? Tell me something.
Hey, man. Hey, it takes somebody wicked to even have that thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ain't no normal person don't be even thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. You're right about that. Let's go to another article. All right, so this is currently in Babylon, man. All hell is breaking loose from damn California to Georgia, all the way across the land.
I already know what you did.
All hell is breaking loose.
That's the name of the article?
No, it's go to ForbesList.com and type in labor shortages. Labor shortages will push wages higher. Right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Esau kingdom is crumbling, about to fall. Right? You got Satan divided against Satan, and a kingdom divided won't stand. Right? Right? So it's, I'm gonna get Matthew 24 and 6 while you getting that. Right, Matthew 24 and verse 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall arise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine, and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. Right, so a lot of these things that you're seeing, these are the beginning of sorrows. All these pestilences, the wars is going on, right? Esau kingdom crumbling down, the stock market going up and down every day. You don't know when to take your mask off, when to leave it on. It's all hell breaking loose, man.
The Republicans and Democrats ready to kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
Going in each other's throat.
Can you type in labor shortages will push wages higher? Labor shortages will push wages higher. got to make sure we stay in the faith, stay in these commandments in these last days, keeping the faith in Christ, because that's the only way we're gonna be saved.
Labor crisis will push wages higher. Yeah, ain't pulling up nothing. Let me try it again.
No, go back to Forbes list. Go back to Forbes list and do the search on there. Click on the Forbes list website.
Is it?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that. Go in the search bar right there. And then try to.
What is it again?
Put labor shortages will push wages higher.
That script you want me to get, bro?
Yeah, give me Revelation 22 and 14. All right, type it in. Is that yeah? There it goes.
Any damn ads on here.
All right, and then you can read that.
All right. Labor shortage will push wages higher, according to the Bank of America. As the U.S. economy roars back to life, new analysis from Bank of America suggests wages are likely to climb higher in the near term thanks to mismatches between supply and demand for workers. Employers are desperate to staff up quickly to meet surging consumer demand, but some workers have been slow to return for a number of reasons, including virus concerns, child care constraints, early retirement, and more generous federal unemployment benefits. B of A senior U.S. economist Joseph Song wrote in a Friday research note, "It's already clear some workers are holding out for higher pay before they re-enter the workforce. The average self-reported reservation wage, the lowest wage a worker says they will accept to start a new job, has grown 21% since the fall for people earning less than $60,000 per year, according to data from the New York Fed."
And this is very true because I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but everywhere, even in my job, everywhere you go, they're giving incentive bonuses, like sign-on bonuses, rather, right? For you they're trying to bring people back into work. Don't nobody want to go to work, right? Esau Kingdom is problem, man. They paying out extra money for people to come to work. They raising wages for people to come to work. When has that ever happened in Esau Kingdom as a whole, right?
That's wild.
It's going down, man. You got. I walked past. We went into Urban Cookhouse earlier this week. Went to Urban Cookhouse. On the outside of the building, they said, "Ask us about our $5,000 hire-on bonus."
Wow.
They hurting out here, man. The Lord is destroying their kingdom from the inside, man. You read?
According to Song's analysis, wage growth will be stronger in sectors that were hit hardest by the pandemic, including construction, real estate, and hotels and food service. There are also industries that tend to employ more workers at the lower end of the income spectrum. The mismatch in the labor market will abate later this year once the reopening boom abates and more Americans return to work, according to Song, which will lessen the upward pressure of wages. The current labor shortage should sort itself out by the fall as growth normalizes to more sustainable levels and more workers return to labor force as health concerns subside and generous UI benefits expire by September. Song wrote, That means wage growth could slow down a little as employers pull back on pay following big wage hikes this year, and once they no longer need to compete with a 300 weekly federal unemployment supplement.
Right, these companies out here competing right now for people to come in to work. Man, it's a beautiful day for Jake right now, man.
All right.
Hey, Jake out here happy, man. Hey, Jake can go to McDonald's and get $15 an hour.
All right.
Man, Jake happy right now, man. So, hey, this right here tell you their kingdom is crumbling. When has Esau ever, as a whole, raked up the prices for the wages for the people? It ain't happening. You read it?
Next year, Song expects wages to rise again when unemployment reaches pre-pandemic levels through that growth, which will be driven by better labor market fundamentals rather than transitory factors like the pandemic and enhanced government unemployment benefits. 4.2%. That's the unemployment rate Bank of America is predicting for the end of 2021, down from 6.1. It expects unemployment will fall even further to 3.5 at the end of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Companies are already beginning to raise their wages to attract more workers as they reopen. Amazon is raising its average starting wage to $17 per hour, and McDonald's plans to raise its average starting pay at the company-owned stores to $15 per hour for 2024. Chipotle said earlier this month that it will raise its average wage to $15 per hour by the end of June. Under Armour said Wednesday that it's hiking its minimum wage from $10 to $15 per hour, and Bank of America itself announced this week that it would raise its U.S. minimum wage to $25 per hour by 2025. Good Lord.
Right. You see that the Under Armour?
Yeah.
Back to the Under Armour. Right. It says Under Armour gonna go from $10 to $15 per hour. That's a $5 jump. $5 raise out of nowhere. And you tell me that kingdom ain't crumbling? When his Esau went to bed and devised a plan, and he went to sleep on it, woke up, thought about it, drank a little coffee. You know what? I'm gonna give them Negroes a raise. No. It ain't happening. Keep reading, bro.
As big businesses hike pay, the Wall Street Journal reported Thursday that some small businesses are struggling to remain competitive. The chief client officer at a St. Louis office furniture dealership told the Journal that he has had to raise wages in order to fend off competition for workers from larger companies, including Amazon. Biden administration doesn't think it can force states to pay 300 unemployment benefits, according to the report. As fears of worker shortages grow, White House economists say COVID-19 is to blame, not $300 unemployment benefits. Could COVID-19 worker shortages create a $15 minimum wage, even without a new law? At least 21 states dropping $300 a week federal unemployment benefits.
Right. Now give me Job chapter 5 and verse 12. And a lot of this stem from the coronavirus, man. A lot of this stem from the coronavirus.
You said Job what?
Job 5 and verse 12.
This is the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
Right, so all this thing, it's backfired on them, man. They didn't know it was going to be this bad. Right, they didn't know it was going to mess their money up. Man, you think Esau going to mess his own money up?
No.
Right, let's get
Let me get Psalms chapter 5, verse 9.
all right.
For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very, very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy thou them, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their own counsels of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. Hey, the Lord ain't playing with them, man. They went out there to create the problem and try to get an antidote at the same time and end up knocking them down.
And then also going to show how he get them the mindset to create the technology and things like the internet. To create the internet and then use the internet to push the word throughout the world. You know, and they don't even realize that's going to be part of their destruction because, like you said, when the true gospel go out through the four corners of the earth, then shall the end come. It can't go out. It wouldn't be able to go out without something like the internet to push it out there. So everybody can't travel 1,000 miles. True. But, you know, somebody 10,000 miles away can click on the internet and hear the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's right. So either they think they all smart and stuff like that, that they can come up with this type of technology, but it's through God to do his will.
And let me get a precept for that then, for what you just said. Isaiah 54 and 16. They say, behold,
Then, Brother Eric, get Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. You got it, bro.
This is Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. That's all he do. He used Esau, or Edomite, even Moab, to come up with these different weapons, and they end up gonna be destroying themselves.
That's right. Get what you got, Brother Eric.
Daniel, what you need, Daniel 12 and 4?
12 and 4, you sir.
All right. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
And that's what you was going into, saying the knowledge was going to be increased, right? The book was going to be sealed and shut, meaning nobody was going to have the understanding towards the latter days. Right then, now our knowledge is increasing. You got technology, right? Not only technology and transportation, but also the knowledge of the Israelites are increased too, because now we can clearly see what's going to happen, right? A lot of the prophets, like, you know, they didn't have where they can go in YouTube and look at what an atom bomb might look like, or, you know what I'm saying, what those nuclear warheads look like. You know what I'm saying? Though only the ones that had the visions, they knew what it looked like. But the rest of them, they didn't know what it looked like. They couldn't go to YouTube and stuff like that to see what it looked like, right? And get on Google Meet and talk across the world to people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's get. Did you get the articles I sent you in your email? All right. First, I'm going to go to 2 minutes on that. Go to 2 minutes. This is at the Grammys Awards. And I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with what's going on right now with Tamir Rice's mother. But she spoke out against this right here. But they basically, at the Grammy Awards, and they did like a little show. All right. But we're going to go in and see what she said after that. Play that real quick.
It's a state of emergency. It's been a hell of a year. Hell for over 400 years. My people, it's time we stand. It's time we demand the freedom that this land promises. President Biden, we demand justice, equity, policy, and everything else that freedom encompasses. And to accomplish this, we don't need allies. We We need accomplices. It's bigger than black and white. This is not a trend. This is our plight. Until freedom. Until freedom.
Every video you see on my conscience, I got power now. I got to. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but she was basically saying, basically it's bigger than. I don't know if y'all ever heard this little baby song. It's bigger than black and white. Right? That's basically when you put the name on those titles. Right? We know the blacks are Jacob. We know the so-called white man is Esau. When they say it's bigger than black and white, like how does that make sense when it comes to the Bible? That's like saying it's bigger than Jacob and Esau. All throughout the whole Bible, they talk about Jacob and Esau. They talk about the 12 tribes of Israel. So how can they say that? But basically, we're going to go and see what her mom had to say. Yeah. Go to that other video I sent you.
There's always some type of bug in the house. You can't keep them out. Always
The fight for racial justice. Here's what she said in an interview.
Well, it is power chasing. Anytime you have activists, people, we don't even know where these people come from, that's be speaking on behalf of our children. We never asked them to represent us. And then you rep the benefits for movie deals and book deals. And you develop a platform off our children. I'm still building a center for my son. And Black Lives Matter got the nerve to say they got $90 million after 6 months or something. So as I'm building and still fighting for justice for my son, because we still got a 10 months left to get perjury charges on Timothy Loman on the state level. Those type of people, Sean Kings, Tamika Mallory, Patrice Cullors, y'all make it very hard for us to fight our fight.
Man, I thought they would be helping the fight. The fact that they're on the front lines, the fact that they're out there protesting, the fact that they're out there pushing the narrative. I thought they would be helping. Maybe
now, another issue that was getting resolved over the weekend, hopefully, is Black Lives Matter.
So basically, she's mad at Black Lives Matter right now. But Black Lives Matter was never for what we call Black Lives, right? They had their own agenda. We're going to find out what that agenda was about, right? But now she's actually calling them out, right? They asking, like, where all this money that they've been raising, where is this money going, right? Like, where's Black Lives Matter? And where is Black Lives Matter when a black-on-black crime happens, man? Where are Black Lives Matter when the abortion clinics are open, right? Killing millions and millions of our people, right? Where's Black Lives Matter then, right? We're going to see what Black Lives Matter is about. So Black Lives Matter, last year, I read this article myself. It used to be on their page. It's not now, right? It used to be under Black Lives Matter page, What We Believe, right? And they had a list of things that they believed in. Did you get that other link I sent you, bro?
Yeah.
About that letter? Yeah, let me put that on the screen. And then go to the second page. Right, so this letter is not on there now. It used to be. But now, if you want to find out, you can Google it. And it was all on the news when they switched it up and changed the meaning of what they believe in, right? But we're going to see what they used to have up there. Read that from the beginning.
All right.
And then while we're reading this, tell me if you see the majority of our people get murdered by the police, right? This is what they're fighting against. Tell me how many times you see black men in there. All right, go ahead and read.
This is we intentionally build and nurture a beloved community that is bonded together through a beautiful struggle that is restorative, not depleting. We are unapologetically black in our positioning. In affirming that Black Lives Matter, we need not qualify our position. To love and desire freedom and justice for ourselves is a prerequisite for wanting the same for others. We see ourselves as part of the global black community, and we are aware of the different ways we are impacted or privileged as black people who exist in different parts of the world. We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status or location. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead.
They do what?
We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. We are
What? Read that one more time. Read that one more time.
We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead.
To participate and lead.
Wow.
Right. So they can be led by transsexuals, man. They can be led by a man who just got off a surgery table and got his rod cut off. They can be led by that man.
That's crazy.
Do you see this, man?
They say we make space for them.
And like I said, keep reading, and you can Google this and see. You can probably Google Black Lives Matter, what they used to believe or anything like that, and it'll pop up. But keep reading and see if you see black men on there, right? So we already see they're talking about transgenders. Where is that even in the equation? You know what I'm saying? We talking about black men getting murdered by the police, getting executed by the police, national hangings by the police, slave catchers, national hangings on TV. Right? Keep reading.
We are self-reflective and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege.
To dismantle cisgender privilege.
And uplift black trans folk. Wow.
I see your face, bro. You like, bro, is this really what I'm saying? Black Lives Matter. This is what they used to have on their page. This was all over the news, but we didn't hear about that. Read.
Especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans and antagonistic violence. Wow.
Are they be trying to act like they tough?
Right.
We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered.
See that? It says we build a space that affirms black women. We haven't seen men yet. And it's free from sexism, misogyny, and environments which men are centered.
We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about the connect with their context, whatever that means.
I'm gonna read from this. Let me see. It says we make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. I wonder why they said parents. Right?
Parents after it.
Right. It says parents with the S. Oh, because you see, the whole context right now is talking about transgender, transsexuals, right? Homosexuals. That's what it's talking about. And then they go on here to say parents. It says we make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children and with their children. How do you get a family? You need a man and you need a woman to come together and make a child, to have a children, and then that'll be a family. Right? So we're talking about a mom and a dad. Go back to that page, bro. And it says, so right below there it says, we dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice work. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. And we already know that comes from the East, because we the people of the East. We're the Israelites, right? We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. They're talking about a man and a woman required by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children father in the picture.
He in the next sentence. Go ahead.
Okay, so especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. We foster a queer, they go to father right there. We foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking. So it's a tight grip for them to understand that a man and a woman that lay down together have children, right? And a man can't lay down together and have children. It just doesn't work. Nature doesn't agree with that, right? Even if you are free spirit and you believe in nature, nature does not agree with that, right? It says we foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather, the belief that all in the world are heterosexual, unless she or they disclose otherwise. So basically saying you can be who you want to be. If you want to be a man, you can be a man. If you want to be a woman, you can be a woman. Right? And it says we cultivate an integrational and communal network free from ageism. Now that's going into something deep. Free from ageism. Right? They try to hide these little slick words in there. Right? They're talking about a damn 13-year-old man. A 13-year-old man or woman with a 30-year-old man or woman. Right? That's what free from ageism is talking about. We believe that all people, regardless of age, show up with the capacity to lead and to learn. So if you're 12 years old, if you're 11 years old, and you don't know what's going on in the world, you can lead.
I'm just tripping off of how they went through all this wording to say all this. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Like you were saying, the topic of the thing or the whole movement was Black Lives Matter. It ain't said nothing about black folks yet.
You won't see black men on there.
Damn.
There's mothers and parents. That's what you're going to see.
That's
we embody and practice justice, liberation, and peace in our engagements with one another. Is that it on that? I think that might be it.
Yeah.
All right. But that's Black Lives Matter for you, man. They are not for Black Lives. This is like a political skateboard, if you will, to get these laws passed through Black Lives Matter. They trying to equalize black lives in oppression with so-called, what we call homosexual lives with oppression. They trying to say it's the same thing. That's all they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But, let's see. You got a script for me, bro?
I was trying to find one. But, hey, that's the same thing they doing, like with Dwayne Wade. Take a celebrity star, take him from the level that he was on, because he was an icon at one point in time. Now they influence him to allow his son to change genders and promote it, where you got Michelle Obama giving him props for doing that.
Right.
So now you see it all the time, even in the sports world, where you got men changing their gender and they in there wrestling with the females, boxing the females, and running track and field, playing ball and dominating.
Mm-hmm.
And ain't nobody speaking on it. You don't see it on ESPN or nothing. I mean, he wicked as hell, man.
They trying to normalize it. They want it to be where someone can see two men together and hook up in their husband or whatever, become normal. You don't stick your head through it no more. They want it to be like normal.
Mm-hmm.
And like me and one of my friends was talking, we were saying how like probably in a few years to come in the high schools and middle schools that it's gonna come to a point where hopefully it don't. But we're saying how it come to a point where two guys can be, they'll look down on you because you ain't been with no man yet. Your boy look like you ain't, like me and tell me you ain't been with no man yet. And it's like make you feel bad that hadn't happened. That we were joking about it, but that's basically what they trying to do.
Yeah.
Make you feel bad about being straight.
Right. That's crazy, man. Because just like they said in that letter, man, well, what they believe, the tight grip, man. They say it's a tight grip to be under heteronormative thinking.
All right.
They mean that us feeling like a man and a woman should be together is a tight grip on them. Right? We oppressing them.
Right. But that's why it's important for all of us that's in this truth, even the one that ain't in the truth. It's still important for the woman to be there to talk to her daughter, keep her on the right path, and it's more important for men to be there for the little boys, our sons, to keep them on the right path, because it gonna come so easy for them to be influenced at the rate that things going. So a little boy, 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, he gonna need that positive role model to let him know, hey, this ain't cool. Because after a while, it's gonna be more people saying, like when he was coming up, it was more us saying that it's not cool to go that route, to be gay or whatever, like men. But this then, it's almost at the point where it's more people saying that it is cool to go that way. And at a young age, it's easy influence.
Just like this cereal box right here. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
They done took all the characters from off the Kellogg boxes. Now, we ain't, as adults, we ain't sitting down eating this food or cereal. But who they pushing this message toward?
Them little 5 and 6 year olds, 7 and 8 year olds, 9 and 10 year olds.
Dwayne Wade's son wasn't even a teenager when they made that decision. So they said, hey, we got to make it go further. Got to take it on down.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have, like you said, a 5 or 6 year old sitting at the table eating, looking at this box, reading it, and that stuff going to stick in their head.
Mm-hmm. Especially toward the Israelites, Black, Hispanic, and Native American, because they know what the demographics looking like. They say by 2040 or 30 something, late 2030, 40, something like that, they will be the minority. And people of color, like the Israelites, the Blacks, Hispanic, Native American, we're going to be the majority. So so now you're coming up with all kind of ways to stop that from happening. And if they can make us men like men and women like women, that's gonna stop our growth. Right? You know what I'm saying? 2 women can't multiply. 2 men can't multiply. And that's just one of the ways they going and trying to stop with the inevitable. But they got a lot of tactics, like they say that crafty, like the cereal box, crafty counsel.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull that for you. This is Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of our name not be remembered no more. Just like when they changed our name to African American, Negro, black man, Mexican, Puerto Rican, right? Brazilian. Those are not our names, man. We the children of Israel, right? And if we know that we the children of Israel, right, like we know that we got things that are required of us, right? So Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17, right? Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17, it says, there shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Right? So now we know that we got things that are required. Now we have laws to live by. Now we're not going by the ways of America. Right? And this all starts with a name, knowing who we are, knowing where we come from, knowing our heritage, the things that are required of us, our heritage, our nationality. Right? Instead of going off to these different philosophies of this world. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9. Right? Because the Lord sent a particular group of people down to talk against this stuff, man, to prophesy against it.
Isaiah 1 and 9.
Yes, sir. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been at Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
Right? It says, except the Lord has left a small remnant. That small remnant are the Israelites, the chosen people. Right? Unless he had left that small remnant, we should have been at Sodom and as Gomorrah. Right? So that's why if we weren't here to speak against this man, the whole world would probably just go to waste because everybody would be around here flaming hot.
All right.
Let's see.
Let me get another one. Isaiah 13 and I just had it. Isaiah 13:19.
Isaiah 13 and verse 19.
And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So he's telling you what's going to happen. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall their shepherds make their fold there. But the glory of America the Great is going to be destroyed just like Sodom and Gomorrah, all the wickedness. I ain't realized there's so many verses talking about Babylon the Great as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm. All through that thing, man.
And we can look and see right now, it's just the beginning. Because we never seen in our lifetime how America is divided. You know, it used to be once upon a time it was America against us. Now it's Edomite versus Edomite.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stand each other. Republican and Democrat, they can't stand each other. A house divided shall surely fall.
That's right.
And you can see, it's like we see what's going. Like right now, I really can't see America going back to what it once was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, pre-Trump. I can't see it going back to what it was.
It done got too far out of hand, man. I talked to a guy at work. He was telling me how he had went down to New Orleans probably about 10 years ago. Said it was two grown men. One of them had some chaps. He was walking down the street in some chaps, and the other one had, the same one had a chaps on. He had a dog collar on. And the one guy behind him had something on where his, basically his ass cheeks was hanging out. And the guy had a leash on the other guy's neck. And he walking down the street with a whip in his hand, smacking him with it. I'm like, come on, man. And
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been telling sisters, y'all want to chime in and speak on something, feel free. Y'all, we have open discussion. We not y'all wouldn't be considered teaching, but y'all can put y'all 2 cents in if y'all want to talk.
Hey, bro, look up the under Black Lives Matter. Go to, let's see what they put up there now. Go to about. Should type in Black Lives Matter and it should say about, and then click on that link.
What the? They're typing the wrong thing.
So we're gonna see. As a matter of fact, I want y'all to still look and see if they put black men on there. Got black men being enslaved left and right. Right?
Hey, y'all see that?
Yeah. Read the top part. I'll read it. Let's see. Go up some. Alright. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Alright. Go back down. Alright. Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in a response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murder. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporation is a global organization in the U.S., UK, and Canada, whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. By combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for black image, imagination, and innovation, and centering black joy, we are winning immediate improvements in our lives. So the whole thing, they said, started around Trayvon Martin, right? A black man, right? It says we are expansive. We are a collective of liberators who believe in an inclusive and spacious movement. We also believe that in order to win and bring as many people with us along the way, we must move beyond the narrow nationalism that is all too prevalent in the black community. We ensure we are building a movement that brings all of us to the front. We affirm the lives of black, queer, and trans folks. They still at it, man. You see from the old letter, this the new one now. This the new updated. The one we read used to be right here on this page.
Hey, keep reading though. This is the crazy thing when you keep reading it.
Correct. Right. All right. We affirm the black, queer, and trans folks, disabled folks, undocumented folks.
What is that? Undocumented folks.
Jewish.
They don't even know what the hell they is.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Undocumented folks. Folks with records. Women and all black lives. You see that? See how you skip over women? Didn't say women and men, but it says women and all black lives. Along the gender spectrum, our network centers those who have been marginalized within black liberation movement. We are working for a world where black lives no longer systematically targeted for demise. We affirm our humanity, our contribution to this society, and resilience in the face of deadly oppression. The call for Black Lives to Matter is a rallying cry for all black lives, striving for liberation. It says for all black lives. I guess the men are in there, right? They don't make a clear distinction, right, about the men. But you see that, though? This is what Black Lives is all about, man. And then when you get into money, you see where it's going, you see who the founders are, then you understand why this says what it says. You know?
It's crazy.
But that's why we got to come out of these false philosophies, these false ways of this world, man. Let me get 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the world, either the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
So we have to leave Black Lives Matter. We have to leave the Christian church and Christianity. We have to leave Islam. We have to leave Buddhism. We have to leave that damn free spirit, man, when we think we can just do what we want to do and feel the universe and vibrate. None of that. You got to come back to the scripture, right? We got to come back to the laws of God, man. You got to vibrate back to the Bible. You know? This is what we have to do in these last days.
I said vibrate. Man, I'm just looking at this the thing where they got all the different flags. You know, the LGBTQ. This thing right here saying this is the rainbow flag is normally something that represents the whole LGBTQ community. But what it says, there are many other pride flags out there, you know, and they got names like asexual, demisexual.
I never heard of this.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had different flags.
Demoromantic, aromatic, intersex, non-binary. What is all this, man?
I'm just gonna be honest, man. I ain't gonna say it. I'm finna say something, but I ain't gonna say it.
Man, that's crazy.
Look at all these flags, man. And this is what they identify with. So this is what they trying to push on the youth and on all the people going forward. This is the new world order right here.
This is crazy.
Just like they said, they trying to end white supremacy, and they gonna bring this movement in.
I'd rather keep the white supremacy. Straight up.
Hey, why these flags look like nations, man? You got the asexualites, the demisexualites, the bisexualites, the pansexualites. Oh man, look at this, man. They got their own flag.
And get what? On them different flags mean separation. And then they gonna start banging against each other.
Hey, that joint say twink. What the hell is that? Twink.
I've never heard of that. Twink.
You gonna start seeing these little flags or stickers with the flag on cars. You're gonna start seeing it. Especially with the younger generation. You know, they there's a bunch of them out there. I'm talking about 18, 19, 20, 21.
Mm-hmm.
They have them.
Alright, I'm gonna close it off with this scripture right here. This is Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy. Right? All these philosophy, all those different flags, all these different philosophies, the ways of this world, right? Anything that goes contrary to the laws of God, man, those are philosophies, a false doctrine, right? False ways, false idols, right? We have to come and separate from all of those, every last one of them, right? From the holidays to your damn pagan, from Buddha to damn Hinduism. You have to separate from all these different gods, man, because in these last days, the Lord is going to be looking for you to be worshiping him, not these false idols, man. Every time we went into false idols, we went into captivity. We ought to know by now not to go into these false idols, man. We have to give these things up. Because what comes with a false idol is a false God. What comes with a false God is a whole doctrine, a whole list of ways of living, right? Then now you living in the ways of the world. Now you just doing what you want to do. Now you're back in Christianity, right? So in Christianity, we know they say we can do anything and we can just praise you, right? We can do how we want to do. We can do how we feel, right? Mm-hmm. And we got to come out of those ways. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit after the traditions of men. Right? These are traditions of men. All these holidays, man, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, your birthday, right? These are traditions of men after the rudiments of the world and not after Christ. Because none of these things are after Christ. But all these things, all these different ways are ways of the world. Right? And we must come out of those ways in these last days. Otherwise, you're going to be burned with fire. You're going to be burned with thermonuclear warfare. Right? You're going to have your body eaten by damn vultures and eagles. Right? And it's going to be a feast day for them.
Like you said, have your eyes consuming, what say, eyes and tongue consume away.
Right?
Right.